Now, for more on this, we cross to SABC News reporter Jade Polzer in Durban. A very good morning to Jade. Thank you so much for joining us. What's happening where you are?
Well, a very good morning, Sim. We're actually coming outside the Durban Magistrates Court ahead of that court appearance at 9:30 this morning. It's going to be a lengthy one if court sits and hears all of the bail applications. You would know that we dealt with Linda Motsoane, the first accused in the matter, as well as Siyanda Edimieza, the third accused. Today we will tackle the rest, and it remains to be seen whether those affidavits are ready. You would know if you were following the court case last week, Simpiwe, that the three of the accused unfortunately could not proceed with their bail apps because the documentation was not ready. So today we will hear from the magistrate, Vincent Tlachwayo, whether court will proceed with those affidavits and whether we'll hear some of the information that will come out there. But like you said, we did deal with Linda Motsoane, the first accused, and we also heard from Siyanda Edimieza, and in both their statements they tried to convince the court why they should be granted bail. Now you would know that the formal bail application will deal with where the suspects reside, what charges they have against them, and we did hear from this Durban Magistrates Court that Siyanda Edimieza has charges, pending cases against him, as well as the first accused in the matter, Linda Motsoane. But we also heard that Linda Motsoane was forced to make a confession, Simpiwe, when he was arrested in Mtubatuba. Now that's going to be very interesting to see how the state addresses that, whether they will bring an investigating officer to this court to talk on that matter. But with regards to Siyanda Edimieza, this court also heard that despite Mieza being in the same vicinity as Florida Road, despite Mieza making 2 phone calls in that precinct, and despite Mieza seen running, that does not amount to the evidence that he did pull the trigger with regards to the plot to kill, aka Simpiwe. His lawyer is saying that this is all circumstantial evidence. So it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out. But joining me right now to unpack and to possibly talk more about the charges and also what emerged last week, I am joined by our legal expert, Abigail Ungobeni. Thank you so much for joining us, Abigail. I was just telling Simpiwe there that, it was very interesting to see some of the information that was on that indictment, such as Linda Motsoane saying that he was forced to make a confession when police apprehended him.
It is going to be very interesting, of course, to hear the state rebutting that when their time to oppose such averments and allegations come. But if that happened, if he was forced to confess, we are likely to be in court for this matter for long. You'd remember in the Senzo case that it took time for the judge to look at what we call a trial within a trial, to check on a manner in which evidence has been collected. And it pins down to the capacity, the strength, the skills of the SAPS who conduct investigation on whether or not are we going to solicit evidence through confessions that are done unlawfully.
One thing that was very interesting was lawyer Yolanda Gillink, when she was saying that despite Mieza being in the same vicinity as Florida Road, calls were made. That is all circumstantial evidence. The CCTV footage depicts a full-figured person pulling the trigger, and Mieza is saying that it was not him.
It goes back to the SAPS on how these investigations was done. But remember that the accused, who is now an applicant for a bail application, bears the honors to say on balance of probabilities, the interest of justice does permit my release on bail. And we have not heard from the state on how these accused persons are linked to the commission of an offense, but we are aware that as time goes on, they will come and state and convince the court that the state's case is so strong and solid that when they go to trial, they will then be able to have a successful conviction. So we are looking forward to hear what the state will say, as opposed to what has been deposed in the affidavit of the applicants, both the applicants.
And I'm sure it's going to be quite a lengthy one today as we tackle the other bail applications from the other accused. Thank you so much for speaking to us there, our legal eagle, Abigail Ungobeni, just unpacking what possibly could happen, but also some of the information that came to the fore, Simpiwe, last week with the two that represented their bail applications or put it forward to this court, Linda Motsoane and Siyanda Edimieza. It's back to you in studio.
All right, Jade, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your update. Jade Polza there outside the Durban Magistrates Court.